Well, it has been a busy weekend of racing. We started off in Gqeberha with the East Cape Derby. That was Friday. It will continue on Saturday at Hollywood's Betts Gravel with the World Sports Betting 1900. And then we are happily back racing at the weekend here on the Highveld. It is turffontein racing on Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day in advance for all our beautiful mothers out there. And it is the start of the 3-year-old winter series that will start with the Secretariat Stakes. But of course, let's talk about a man whom I'm sure many mothers would like to have as a son. And it is the man to my right, to Mr. Daryl Marie. I'm sure I've softened him up enough for him to give us the best that he's got. It's Bipot, starting race number 210 past 1. And that's where we're going to hand over to you. Good morning to you.
Good to see you again, sis.
Thank you. You're most kind. Likewise. Good to see you.
Thank you. Opening leg of the Bipot, I've played the safe routes. I've got numbers 1 and 3. Just want to touch on the filly, the first timer, Mr. Van Vuren's Flower Alley daughter, owned by Mr. Werner's in Stonebridges. I need to say sorry to Mr. Werner's.
Yes.
I got the dam's record incorrect. I'd say turffontein on Thursday. Thank you for pointing that out. But this time I've got it right.
Is it full sibling too?
This filly is related to Garden Party. I don't know if you recall Garden Party, owned by the late Colin Govender-Sammy. Won 3 races for Paul Peter over 1,000 meters. It's also related to Radicchio, who's a 1,400 miler. So I do want to say that there's been no anti-post support for her. She's trading in the region of 7.5 to 1. However, the dam did win the debutante and the East Cape Fillies nursery, so she's extremely well bred. I've gone with the race runners over here. Now, Charming Cheetah had excuses last time out. Obviously, Green Diamond came out and won the Protea, grade 3, by 6.5 lengths. And Charming Cheetah on that occasion had excuses. He has subsequently been gelded, which is interesting. So I like his chances. On a line through Green Diamond, he should have the beating of my horse that I backed him up with, Tin Pan Alley. But I actually don't believe that was a bad effort last time out. Green Diamond won by quite some distance, and I think he did improve from his debut effort. So he's obviously got more to come. Then you have to have respect for the 2 Paul Matchett inmates, number 2 Red Penny, who appreciated the step up in trip. He comes back down. And number 4 Zelatorus, who sprung a bit of a surprise on debut, beating another 10 to 1 shot. So 1 and 3, I believe those should suffice.
1 and 3, that will be the opening leg of the Bipot, and that is off at 10 past 12. The outlay will be at 216 Rand. Of course, very affordable if you go the percentage route. We go to a maiden plate. This will be the play Soccer 610 and a 13 over the 1160. We've lost the 2 Amanda Ngawetu. That is the only scratching on of the card at this early stage. We're recording on a Friday for the Sunday race meeting. We've got a field of 8, and looking at the betting, well, the 8 are so heartthrob after a very encouraging debut. They didn't exactly throw the kitchen sink as far as betting at Soho Heartthrob. Not that they are a betting stable, but not too much interest given a quiet entrance, and it was indeed eye-catching. Less than a half a length to War of Kingdom. And then we've got a couple of well-bred first-timers. 5 Xenophone, coincidentally, a half sibling to one of Lucky's Star Sprinters, Dreamland, and the 7 Palace Attack, half brother to the recent Premier's Champion Challenge winner. That is a Fire Attack. Mr. Marie, the first timers 9 to 2 and 7 to 1 plus minus. Just looking at the betting guides, not too much interest at this early stage.
Yeah, and there is a comment with regards to the first timers for numbers 4, 5, and 9. Number 4 will need the run. Number 5 may need the experience, and number 9 will be green, looking for further. Follow the market with regards to their chances. You've mentioned their relatives, etc. Opted for the 2 race runners over here. Now, Soho Heartthrob put in a sparkling debut. Didn't get the cleanest of breaks, but he recovered very quickly. He was up there on the pace. He fought all the way down to the line, and he gave that favourite a bit of a fright, who subsequently won again, War of Kingdom. So the form line is looking strong. In that very same race, running third, was a horse called Time Will Tell. He was less than a length behind Soho, Heartthrob. Now go to Lava Counties, last start. When running second, I know the conditions were great because they cancelled that meeting after the second race. That horse fell. But the fact remains is that Lava County beat Time Will Tell by 8 odd lengths. And Soho Heartthrob only beat Time Will Tell by less than a length. So strictly on paper, one should be leaning towards Lava County, who showed a lot more interest in his second start. He was up on the pace, whereas on debut he was languishing behind. Safe route of 6 and 8. I'm actually leaning towards number 6 as being more value currently in the markets.
Gavin Arena retains right for the Candace Dawson stable in the colours of the Vernon, the 2-year-old son of Erupt. Lava County, do keep that in your notebook. 6 and 8 is the numbers, 6 being Lava County and the 8 Soho Heartthrob. The PA gets underway with race 3 at 12:45. A reminder, number 2 is a scratchy. Pinnacle Stakes will be our opening point as far as the Pick Six is concerned on Mother's Day. That is Sunday, 11 May at Turffontein. We're on the standside track. 1,800 meters is the trip. No scratchings, a field of 7. And out of that 7, 3 renew rivalries after recently running behind a musical score from the Hoodalaka stable. As far as favoritism is concerned, and the one who's been contesting Grade 1s is the one Parisian Walkway. Didn't really get it all right. Choked up, things went wrong in the derby, but is back down in trip and would say a drop in class to an extent, and that is at 19-10, although is up against Open Company. The 2 Tamarisk Trees certainly been consistent, 5-2. It's 3-1 and better bar those. Mr. Marine Navajo Nation has had a lot of racing since coming up. 3 runs on the standside track. Last run 2,000 meters back to the 18 meets for Silent War on 2 kgs better of terms and same weight differential with Key Element.
Yes, now we have to touch on Navajo Nation's last start in the Colorado King. He was actually languishing at the back of the field. Coming through the 400, you'll see in the computer form, let me just see. He was sitting up second, so he did make a bold move and then his run just emptied out. Mr. Diaba, I think will sit more patiently this time around. And you know, he's showing signs of life again. He's going to get it right. Have a look at the best weighted column. He's best weighted. He's got 52. He's a big son of the United States. I think he's going to go well. You did touch on that swing around with Silent War. Now, obviously, Navajo's had one more extra run in between that. Maybe his fitness edge is just slightly better. However, Silent War caught the eye last time. 600 meters from home, one would say he's going to run closer to last. But he found a second wind and he was rattling home late. I thought he was doing good work. So he's got a lot of confidence from the irons in Mr. Kachedi aboard. So I've included him. Tamarisk Trees in great form currently. It's hard to ignore his chances. However, his rating keeps going up and he keeps defying the handicapper. Parisian Walkway. Have a look at that run in the Classic behind Confederate. Page down to number 6, Miss Galetta. She is as much as 5.5 kilograms better off for a length and 3/4. So you can't be ignoring her chances. And then number 7, Key Element. Trust you me, she's not far behind Silent War and Navajo Nation. And I've got a feeling Mr. Gates is going to make use of her and put her in the race early. He likes to get rolling. So with 50 kgs to shoulder, she's my lurk in the pack. You can see I've got the entire field except for Arumagam, who's not kindly treated at the weights here. If he happens to win, I actually deserve to go at the Pick 6.
Well, there it is, the Pick 6. And Sans Arumagam, as you heard from Mr. Marie. And then we've got our bankers in legs 2 and 5. Off time to race 4, 13:20. All right, so we get into our first jackpot of the afternoon, race number 5. And of course, we did mention that it is a 10-race program. Be reminded that it will be a race interval between the first and the second. So the second starts race 7. Let's focus on race 5. We drop it down to a merit rate of 74, and we drop down in distance to a mile. And we're looking at the Ultimate King recently out of those maidens at the fourth time of asking. And just the suggestion is that it has been meeting quite competitive maiden fields up until that maiden win, and that last maiden win has produced a winner already. That is Gavin Arena teaming up with Tony Peter and Mrs. Suzette Fillion, and that is the top of the boards, a clear favourite. And then the next best is the 5 Future Wolf. Please note that the usual headgear, the Connell collar, is applied by Heather Adamson. Now I leave it to you, Mr. Marie. It's a field of 9. Can we now go on with the Ultimate King, or can Pretty Analia continue her good form?
Listen, Pretty Analia, you said is what price? Let me have a look.
The Pretty Analia is look at 92.
92.
Yeah.
If she trades under double figures, I'll be surprised. I can't. She's in great form, but I think the handicap has
Got to her.
got to her now. Then you got Dual Prophecy, who's been off for quite some time. He's also 7-1 in the market. I think he's going to blow. Future Wolf is in his place. I can't see them coming in for him. So in my mind, the 16-10 about the Ultimate King, it represents a hell of a lot of value. One's going to say, yes, he beat Chieftain Shield, the long-time battling maiden. And the form one was franked with the Work Rider winner in Blurred Vision. So the form's not that great. But Cecil, Tony Peter has got a lot of stock in his yard. And his dad has been around some really top horses. And for them to have even nominated the Ultimate King in this year's Hollywood Bets Durban July says a lot. And it says that he's way better than his current mark of 80. I mean, they're no fools. Why even consider that? So this horse is highly, highly regarded. He may not have shown it on the track to date, but last time his first run as a gelding was effortless. Andrew Fortune never moved the muscle. It would have given him a lot of confidence, and the field that he meets over here is no doubt the right field for him to remain unbeaten as a gelding and go on. I think he's going to go through the divisions. You just have to look at him and realize that he's actually a very nice racehorse. So for me, the Ultimate King, very, very hard to beat. I'll tell you who's my second choice, if you're not confident in bankering him in the jackpot, is
Dual Prophecy.
No, Capola, yeah. So I see Gloria Mundi going up and making the pace for the stable companion. But Capola, last time out, running second to Eiffel Tower. His stable companion won yesterday at Turffontein, a horse called Sea Shanty, who finished quite some distance behind him. He's got a neat draw, and I think he's off a mark that he is competitive off. So for me, 1 from 7 in that order, confident with regards to the Ultimate King.
Well, he said it all. It is bank of the 1 in the first leg and bank of the 6 in the last leg, and that would be Mount Pinatubo in race 8. Back to a Pinnacle Stakes for race number 6, and of course one of the highlights of the afternoon. It is not a feature, but I think much talked about horse for ability, and that is the one main defender. We'll be going for 3 on the bounce, and overall we'll be looking to make it 11 wins now from 19 outings. The guys are so passionate. That passion never dies, and they do take the good and the bad in the same vein. Gavin Arena retains the ride. This will be his 7th ride, and he's looking for his 4th win aboard main defender on the Sunday. That is pretty sure that would be expected at 19-10. I think if that is your chop main defender, jump in now. What is your view of race number 6? Legend of Arthur last seen running and just hanging on for that victory in the Derby. No, beg your pardon. It wasn't. That was Fiery Pegasus in the Oaks. But Legend of Arthur ran on nicely to win the Derby.
He did.
Fiery Pegasus was the one that hit the front and
yeah. Many are touting him as this year's Hollywood Bets Durban July winner, Legend of Arthur.
I think
have a look. The Alamites are off. The steel shoes are on. Says, I mean.
Oh, you're a gin boy, are you?
So obviously he's having a prep run. I'm sure he's going to be teed up for this year's July. Main defender also possibly having a prep run. This isn't his goal. That's a Pinnacle. He's drawn out wide. He's got 62 to shoulder. I think I don't know what I looked at the betting and was scratching my head. 19 to 10, 2 to 1 main defender in this lineup. He's not going to get punished whatsoever. If he wins, he wins. But there's going to be no pressure for him in this race. Yes, he beat a top sort last time out, Cosmic Speed, who, funny enough, came out and ran third behind Sail the Seas in this year's WSB Guineas. It was a cracking effort, just behind 8 on 18. And we know he's got the ability and he's weighted to win main defender. But it's a prep and he's going to be looked after. If his class pulls him through, good luck to him and his connections. But he's got some young, lovely 3-year-olds to contend with. The likes of Truth, the likes of Musical Score. Truth over this course and distance is deadly. And what more does poor old Candace Dawson have to do to get out the second box as well? But yeah, she's got a boy to get her back onto winning ways and get the ball rolling. Muzi from a neat draw, course and distance suited, cracking effort last time out. A lot is in his favor, but he's also prepping. And then Musical Score. I thought his 2 runs since being gelded have been impressive in that he's come on. He's got 52 to shoulder from a neat draw. Last time out in a mile, he quickened up very smartly and had the race won in a good number of strides. So I'm not too concerned about coming back to the 1400. He should get the run of the race. And as the way the betting stands, I believe him in the region of 8 to 1 represents value. Truth in my mind represents value. I'm not saying main defender can't win. I'm just saying I believe his odds are a bit skinny.
Right, so it is, if I will read you right, 5, 9, and 1 if that box exacta were to be put in order of merit. That's the exacta suggestion for race 6, the Pinnacle Stakes over the 1400. Well, here we go with our top liner on the afternoon. A top liner in the sense that it is a feature race, and this is a 4-0 non-black type feature, but nonetheless, quality of field does belie that non-black type status. It is the Betway Secretariat Stakes, the first leg of the 3-year-old Winter Series, and well, it promises to be a series and a half. It is race number 7 on the card, first leg of the second jackpot on a 10-race program on a Mother's Day. And we see the return to the tracks to off number 2, Immediate Edge, now gelded. And of course, we'll appreciate the ground. The feedback was didn't appreciate the going on Derby Day. And this time, definitely not any problem like that. Now, Mr. Uzalakis won the race last year. Raw Force is his entrance and certainly is a candidate to continue that tradition.
Saber Strike.
Oh, yes.
Saber Strike.
Yes.
Mr. Mtembo, lovely races. You know, it's tricky in that it's not level weight, so there's some really nice horses having to give weight away here, and that's always a telling task. So if there happens to be a bit of an upset, I wouldn't be shocked. However, this horse, Royal Force, is going about things in a lovely manner. You know, in his first couple of starts, he was very keen. And last time out, Striker sat aboard him and he settled like a lamb. And he actually won with a lot in hand. He could only get that £6 penalty. So although he's got 62 to shoulder, he really could be better than his current rating. And I think the race is going to pan out well for him because he's got a neat draw. He can come out softly. And the first thing Striker's going to attempt to do is get him to relax in the race itself, because he does have a hefty mass to shoulder. Immediate Edge returns as a gelding this time around. He's still got his eyes and his target being the Durban July, the Hollywood Bets Durban July. This race, I'm sure, will bring him on, maybe heading into the Jubilee. I'm not 100% sure of the path they're going to be following. But he has a chance for him to confirm that their start was too bad to be true, and he's back on a path where he can progress. Now, a horse I'm looking for a lot of improvement from is number 4, Schwarzenegger. Now, when he won his maiden by double digits, there were rumors that there was substantial money being offered for him and he failed the vet. But since then, he's sort of lost the plot. However, I know his last start doesn't look great on paper, but I watched that replay. He came out soft on purpose. He was in need of that run. Take note who reunites with Erico Verdenez.
Gavin.
Gavin and Erico, when they team up,
Yeah.
their strike rate is so high that you cannot ignore this horse's chances. He'll be putting the race this time round from a neat draw, and he will run a much improved race. 1 and 4 is my suggested betcha as a swinger.
All right, 1 and 4, that is the Raw Force and the Schwarzenegger race number 7, our top liner on the afternoon. And again, a reminder, first leg of Jackpot 2. Whilst the race number 7 is the top line on the afternoon, and of course the preceding race, the anti-penultimate race that we discussed, had a main defender in it. We've got race number 8. It is drop in distance to 1,000 meters, but these horses would not look out of place whatsoever in some of the features that we're looking forward to in the next couple of months on the coast. Right, as far as favoritism is concerned, it is the 6 Mount Pinatubo. That is Johan Janssen van Vuren and Gavin Loreen, and of course in those famous Silso Bingwa, and that represents the ownership of the Stonebridges in partnership with the Verner's family. And after that, you're looking at another Verner's runner, that is Cosmic Star, in good form, 3-1. In another of the Verner's owned horses, Lucky Udelark is the trainer. Number 1, Dreamland, whom we touched on earlier on, is at 5-1, along with the 2 Quantum Theory. I'll leave it there, Mr. Marie, because we could go on and on and on about the quality of field. I'm sure you're in agreement. A good card for Sunday.
Lovely, lovely. You know, you can make a case for so many of these horses. Did you touch on the form update with Bob's?
There?
Bob's your uncle.
No, and again, that's another one. The form update, I haven't even touched on that from recently. You know, I didn't.
Yeah,
My
he
apologies.
actually won on Thursday.
Yes.
Beat him +4. I'm not too sure if he's going to stand his ground. But yeah, you can make a case for quite a few of these runners. Richard Free reunites with Dreamland. He knows what he's all about.
Yeah.
Quantum Theory moved up with a double handful. Last time it looked like he was going to win. A little bit worried about him dropping to 1,000. Cosmic Star, lovely return after a 5-month layoff last time. Being backed up a few weeks later. We saw... Who won from there? I'm trying to think.
This is which
Yamadori. Yamadori won from there.
Yeah, Johan Janssen van Vuren.
The stable companion. Troppo Veloci of this course and distance. Very effective. But even Magic Tattoo you can make a case for. But, and Tchaikovsky desperately unlucky last time. But Cecil Mount Pinatubo is a racehorse. I'll tell you something. This horse is a proper racehorse. I think he's a lovely sort. And you know, he was returning from a layoff last time out. He was taking on a top sprinter who's come on in leaps and bounds since being gelded.
Buffalo
Storm Cody.
Yeah.
Take note, he was returning from a layoff. He was giving Buffalo Storm Cody 2 kilograms, and Buffalo Storm Cody had a benefit of 1 run after a rest. So he moved up to him like with a double handful, and he just emptied out very late. Gavin is going to get him cover from that inside barrier. And up the turffontein straight, I love this horse. I think at 28-10, you have to have a bet. In saying that, if you play to beat him, you have to really consider the field. But I'm going with my eye in what I saw last time out. I was very impressed with that return. So if he can back up a similar effort, I think we'll get the money over here.
Well, you've heard the man. He is going with the eye of Marie. And just to confirm, it is Craig Zaki aboard last time out over the 1450 on Bob's Uruncle, and that was just getting up 0.20 lengths to beat +4 in a merit rated 96. So that is the latest form update. Thank you very much for just nudging me on that, Mr. Marie. That's your form updates for race number 8. Last chance to get involved in a pick 3 on Sunday.